Ever wondered why Sigma females often ignore men? The answer lies in the enigmatic nature of Sigma females themselves. These women are introverted, self-reliant, and non-conformist, a combination that makes them quite unique in the vast spectrum of personality types. Unlike their alpha and beta counterparts, Sigma females don't vie for the limelight or seek validation from others. Instead, they prefer to march to the beat of their own drum, often leading to misunderstandings and misconceptions about their behavior. It's not uncommon to hear phrases like mysterious or hard to decipher used to describe Sigma females, and this is not without reason. Their self-reliant nature and preference for solitude often make them seem aloof or disinterested, especially in social settings. But is this really the case? Or is there more to Sigma females than meets the eye? Now let's delve into the reasons why Sigma females often ignore men. First up, Sigma females relish their solitude. An intriguing aspect of Sigma females is their deep-rooted appreciation for alone time. Unlike many, they don't view solitude as an unwelcome state to be avoided, but as a comforting space that allows them to recharge and rejuvenate. Imagine a bustling party full of laughter, chatter, and music. While some would dive right into the heart of it, a Sigma female might prefer the tranquility of a quiet corner, the company of a good book, or the rhythm of her own thoughts. It's not because they disdain the company of others, but because they treasure the time spent with themselves. In their solitude, they think, they create, they grow. They find joy in their own company, exploring the contours of their inner world. They see solitude as a precious gift, a time to refocus and realign. For a Sigma female, solitude is not loneliness but a sanctuary. Secondly, Sigma females have a high regard for authenticity. This is a trait that is deeply ingrained in their nature, and it influences who they choose to interact with. You see, Sigma women are not swayed by superficial charm or ostentatious displays of wealth or power. They're more interested in what's beneath the surface, the real person hiding behind the facade. Imagine a man who always seems to say the right things, but his actions don't match his words. Or another who constantly brags about his accomplishments, but lacks a genuine sense of self. These are the types of individuals that Sigma women tend to steer clear of. Instead, they gravitate towards those who are genuine, who aren't afraid to be themselves, warts and all. They appreciate honesty, consistency, and depth in character. To them, authenticity is not just attractive, it's essential. And that's why inauthenticity is a deal breaker for Sigma females. Thirdly, Sigma females are extremely selective. This isn't about being picky or hard to please, but rather about knowing what they want and not settling for less. When it comes to relationships, they seek intellectual and emotional compatibility. They're not interested in superficial connections, nor are they swayed by flashy displays of wealth or physical attractiveness. For a Sigma female, the mind is the ultimate aphrodisiac. They're intrigued by intelligence, captivated by depth, and drawn to authenticity. They ignore men who don't meet these standards, not out of arrogance, but because they value their time and energy. They're not afraid to walk away from what doesn't serve them, and they don't tolerate mediocrity or insincerity. They seek partners who challenge them, inspire them, and understand them on a profound level. They're not interested in a crowd of admirers. They're looking for a kindred spirit. Sigma women value quality over quantity in their relationships. Fourthly, Sigma females are independent thinkers. These women have a distinct preference for intellectual freedom. They don't just absorb information, they analyze, dissect, and form their own conclusions. This intellectual autonomy is why they often ignore men who attempt to dominate or control their thoughts. They don't appreciate being told what to think or how to perceive the world. Let's paint a picture here. Imagine a man trying to impress a Sigma female by imposing his viewpoints or beliefs on her. Instead of being swayed, she would likely question, challenge, and even debunk his arguments. She's not being combative, she's just exercising her intellectual independence. Sigma females also value autonomy in their decision-making process. They don't need reassurance or approval from others. Whether it's about choosing a career path, picking a book to read, or deciding where to travel next, Sigma females trust their judgment and make decisions that align with their values and interests. Sigma women are masters of their own minds. Fifthly, Sigma females are not attention seekers. It's a curious trait, isn't it? In a world where everyone seems to be clamoring for attention, Sigma females stand apart. They aren't interested in being the center of attention, and they certainly don't require validation from others. Instead, they often ignore those who constantly seek attention. Why, you ask? Well, it's because they value authenticity and meaningful interactions. They prefer quality over quantity, and you're more likely to find them engaged in a deep, insightful conversation with one person, rather than being surrounded by a crowd of admirers. These women don't need to be in the spotlight to feel important or valued. They are comfortable in their own skin, and they don't need others to define their worth. They don't play games, they don't chase, and they certainly don't pander to anyone's need for attention. For Sigma women, attention is not a currency. They don't trade in it, nor do they crave it. It's just not their style. Sixthly, Sigma females are self-sufficient. They don't just enjoy their own company, they thrive in it. They ignore men who fail to recognize this aspect of their personality, who undermine their ability to handle life independently. Let's consider a few examples in the professional world. A Sigma female doesn't wait for opportunities to be handed to her. She creates them. She seizes them. She's the woman pulling the late-night shifts, working diligently towards her ambitions. She's the entrepreneur, the freelancer, the innovator. In her personal life, she's the one who can change a flat tire, fix a leaky faucet, or navigate a complex tax return. She doesn't need a man to come to her rescue. She values partnership, but not dependency. She's not looking for someone to complete her, because she's already whole. And that's the thing about Sigma women. They are not damsels in distress waiting for a prince. Sigma women are their own knights in shining armor. Seventhly, Sigma females value deep connections. Now, this isn't about the number of friends on a social media profile or the count of contacts in a phone book. Far from it. Sigma women have a unique approach to relationships, one that emphasizes quality over quantity. They crave emotional depth and intellectual stimulation. They yearn for conversations that stretch beyond the mundane, the superficial, and the easily forgotten. They seek partners who will dive into the vast ocean of thoughts and feelings with them, exploring the complexities of the human experience. For Sigma females, a lack of depth is a deal breaker. They won't settle for surface-level chit-chat or fleeting connections. They ignore men who aren't willing to establish a strong emotional bond, who aren't prepared to navigate the profound layers of a Sigma woman's world. In the end, it's not about who has the most friends or the busiest social calendar. For Sigma women, depth is the essence of connection. Lastly, Sigma females are non-conformists. They are the women who are not afraid to go against the grain. They refuse to be boxed into societal expectations or norms. Instead, they choose to follow their own path, guided by their own moral compass and not by what is generally accepted or expected. This is particularly evident in their interactions with men. Sigma females won't give attention to men who expect them to conform. They ignore those who try to fit them into a preconceived mold or standard. They are not interested in being someone else's idea of perfect. They are comfortable in their own skin, embracing their uniqueness, and are not afraid to stand out from the crowd. Sigma females have a strong individualistic streak. They value their independence and freedom above all else. They are not swayed by peer pressure or societal expectations. They are their own people, living by their own rules. Sigma women dance to their own rhythm. Let's recap the reasons why Sigma females often ignore men. We've journeyed through the enigma of Sigma females, a unique breed of individuals who march to the beat of their own drum. We started off by understanding that these women truly enjoy solitude. They revel in their own company, finding peace and fulfillment in their own thoughts and activities, often choosing this over the company of others. We then delved into their deep-seated value for authenticity. Sigma females are the real deal. They appreciate genuine interactions and have little patience for anything superficial or fake. This value translates into their interactions with men, often leading them to ignore those who come off as inauthentic or insincere. Next, we explored their selective nature. Sigma females don't just keep anyone in their circle, they are highly selective, choosing to interact with those who complement their lifestyle and values. We also touched on their independent thinking. They are not swayed by societal norms or peer pressure. They think for themselves and make decisions based on their own judgment and experiences. This can sometimes make them seem dismissive or unresponsive to men who try to influence their choices. We then unpacked their lack of interest in seeking attention. Sigma females are content in their own skin and do not seek validation or attention from others, including men. Next, we discovered their self-sufficiency. Sigma females are not reliant on others for their happiness or success. They are capable and independent, often ignoring men who mistake their independence for a cry for help or attention. We also discussed their value for deep connections. Sigma females are not interested in shallow or fleeting relationships. They crave deep, meaningful connections, often ignoring men who can't offer this level of depth. Finally, we highlighted their non-conformist nature. Sigma females do not conform to societal standards or expectations. They live life on their own terms, often ignoring men who expect them to fit into a certain mold. Understanding these traits can help forge stronger, more meaningful connections with the elusive Sigma females.